Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Testing Mini Bytes. I'm your friend Amnon Shaktivel. In this video, we're going to analyze about the new IDE launched by JetBrains, specific for test automation engineers. Right, this is a very good initiative from the JetBrains, creating an IDE for test automation. Right, I have already gone through their features. Some of them are very straightforward, easy to use. Some of them are uh, quite tricky, but I have covered them all in this particular video. So without skipping, you can watch the entire video. At the end, I will tell you whether it is worth it or not. Let's say if you are going to make this as a licensed tool, we want to see if you are okay to purchase it or not. So some of the important features includes they have an inbuilt web inspector that gonna help you stay inside the IDE rather than switching between your browser to find the locators and then the IDE. So that's some of the key features. Um, and then there is an ability to add locators directly to the code. You don't have to copy paste your code. You don't have to type any of this at the rate find by all your locating stuff. It just adds directly. And then they also have a new project template, which we normally use, which is quite easy this time. And they also have given options to customize the template, which is quite fascinating. And then there is also a possibility to connect with your test management system. For now, you have the ability to integrate with TestRail. In future, they're going to integrate with Zephyr and X-Ray plugins in Jira. So you will get the integration with these tools as well. And then they also have the option to execute the HTTP request because this is already available in other JetBrains project. I'm not going to dive deep here, but we will cover all these new features, right? So without wasting much time, let's head to the Aqua. If you notice one thing, you know, if you download Aqua from the internet, you can download it based on your versions, operating system, and you can create a new project. So here you get a very cool wizard here. You can choose what kind of thing you want, right? You can also end up creating an empty project or new project. But what I would suggest is use Selenium, and then you can name your stuff. Let's say this time I'm going to automate Orange HRM test. So I'm gonna keep it as Orange HRM, and I want to choose Java, Maven, JUnit, all are good. I'm gonna use JDK 11. Click on next. Now it gives an option to add executing or reporting libraries. I want to SOJ. I can directly choose this. If you want serendipity or other stuff, you can also choose that. But one thing that I noticed is if they have given option to customize this version here, it will be much easy. Instead of I going and changing it in the POM, if there is an option to choose the version here, it will be pretty cool. They have only for Selenium, not the intricate level details. So that would be like kind of awesome, right? So let's create a new project and see how this looks like. And as soon as I build it, there seems to be some errors. Okay, uh, so this is how looks like, right? So it creates a test class with all the configuration needed for Selenite, right? If you are using Selenium, it will have created for Selenium. Selenite is an amazing library. I have started to create playlist on that. If you haven't watched that, please do watch it. It's an amazing library. You should definitely use it. And here they have already written tests, which basically goes somewhere validating something, right? So uh, they also have created the project SRC test. They have created a test class and the main class. All looks good. They have also added browsers.json. If you guys were using Selenium Grid and not using Selenite, Selenite is a very good alternative to Selenium Grid. It is not resource hungry. It consumes very less resources. I have playlist on that as well. It's very easy to launch your Selenite containers from within the Aqua IDE, then running some commands or using Docker Compose files. We will cover this in detail, but for now they also include Maven wrappers, which is pretty cool. You can use Maven wrappers. Uh, for someone who doesn't know what the Maven wrapper is, let's say you ship this project to a different system, and that guy doesn't have a Maven configured in his machine, Maven home. He might end up facing a lot of issues. But with Maven wrapper, he doesn't have to carry. This Maven wrapper has everything in it to run your test, right? So basically, let's try to check if this is working. Obviously, it should work. So, they have set the browser size. They're trying to launch the JetBrains. And also, if you notice, there is a new little icon here, which is pretty cool. And yeah, the tests are launching. For now, we are not really interested in all that. So we can stop it. Uh, And if you notice, the main important advantage is using a web inspector. So instead of using web inspector, so if you notice, you press double shift and then you get an option to get the web inspector. Again, in some cases, you can also see it here, right? So that's good. Now, instead of all this, I can also end up creating my own test, but I don't know what are the other options available. Let's go here and let's say I want to create a test class. There is no option to create test class. Maybe I'll use this and then I say range HRM test. They could also include the test class, right? They know that we are going to use assert J and JUnit. So they should have given an option to create a test class directly, right? So that's also would be advantages. And apart from that, they also have new thing called a Selenium page object. Okay, that is pretty cool. If you want to create a page object class, you can also do this. But before coming here, maybe we will try to evaluate this web inspector. So let's go here and then try to run google.com and then click on load. Let's see what's happening. So yeah, basically it loads the Google Chrome, right? So we have back, refresh, going forward, clearing cookies, pop-up windows. Again, we can also switch to mobile view, it seems. It's really cool, right? If you are working with the APM, you can also do this. But for now, I don't want that. You can also open the inspector window here. Like, if you don't want this locate as evaluator, you can also open this inspector window and then work with it. But here, let's try to inspect something. Let's click on this, click on the search box, and let's say name equal to Q. This is correct. I want to see what is here. It is one match, which means there is a locator with this strategy. But there are 15 possible variants that you could write for this, right? You can choose whatever you want. In my case, I'm going to choose something like this. Okay. Okay, now this is also working. You can just press add and then it's adds all the locators for you, right? So you can do import of all these. But yeah, if you're using Selenium, it's quite easy. Let's say I choose something else. I click on add. It basically creates the locators for me. That's pretty cool, right? Uh, but I'm using Selenide instead of Selenium. Then what should I do? I think they have an option here to choose what kind of library you want. And then again, if I go click on this, add it, this time it's basically adding me the locators as Selenide elements, right? So that's pretty cool. And the only advantage of using page object class is basically you don't have to do the imports yourself. It will automatically have the imports by itself. If you go here to the Selenium page object, you can also choose the URL. So let's say this is Google page, and then you can choose this and click on OK. So this basically loads the web inspector session for you. And now it automatically does all the imports for us, right? Since we are going to use Selenium, it knows we are going to use Page Factory, Find By, and everything. And also, I've added something called as Page Factory.init elements, right? This is pretty cool. So we don't have to even type this. This is normally we use, right? So let's also create one more Selenium page object with Java and Selenite, right? Click on OK. And now this time, it is importing all the static imports that we normally use and these things, right? So this is pretty good. Let's inspect few elements here. Inspect this. Again, you can also have an option to choose between CSS and XPath. You can choose XPath, and then when you stick on add, it adds it for you, right? So this is how it is. But the only thing is they should have used proper names. I don't know if there is a name attribute. They could also use the name attribute to name the element. Something like this. Yeah. But yeah, but at least it is good. And let's go to here. And then you can also choose what kind of strategy you want to use. You can use name, which you already used. So yeah, you can also use name and then by name. So same way, you can choose your own stuff. Let's say I want to use classes to find this element. You can also do that. And let's say you want to do driver.find elements, right? List of elements. And then here they have given an option, shift to add multi-selector. Let's say I press shift and then click on name. It basically adds element collection. Okay. Let's say if I do this with the help of Selenium, do the same thing with shift and then name, it adds list of web element for me. So that's the advantage. Let's say if you want to do list of web elements, element collection, multiple elements, you press the shift and choose your locator. So that's how easy it is. Let's say I also want to create one more page object. Okay, we are speaking about Orange HRM, right? So let's do that. So let's go here, create a new page object with orange HRM page, whatever. And then it's asking for the URL. So what I can do is can basically give the URL. So if you give the URL, it basically loads it for you. So you don't have to worry about loading it yourself, right? So choose Selenite, click on OK. So now it should basically launch it. I don't know. It's not doing it. Should have done that. Yeah. Maybe I should close it and try it. But for now, I will manually paste it. I click on reload, see what's happening. So yeah, so the RM HRM site is now open. So let's say I want to find elements for this. Okay, it's very easy. So choose the element you want, click on add, and then it basically creates locators for you. That's what we want, right? So it creates the locators for us. The next element two, and then click on name, boom, it's got added. Let's go login, choose it, login, boom. So this is pretty cool. I don't have to spend any efforts in this. It's really, really cool, right? So, and apart from this, there is also something that I want to cover. Um, let's say this one, I think the naming is something that they could improve, which is something that I don't like for now. They could also do something about it. Um, but let's come to the browser.json. Let's say in case of Selenium, we need a browser.json and it will download this particular container, pull the image and then start this container. In my case, if I have to use, because I use a Mac M1, this image will not work in my machine. So I have to basically override it. I can also do that, but I'm happy that they have given something like this. Let's do a configure. I can basically add the name for this container if I want, and then everything is already set. Bind mounts is everything is done. Let's click on apply and run. Let's see if it is starting the container. So yeah, it started the container at 4444. We can also go and see whether this is getting started or not. Yeah, I have my Zoom. Yeah. So if you notice, yeah, this is up and running. So you can run your test on remote pretty easily. So yeah, this is the whole thing, guys. I think I like this. Uh, is there any functionality that we have missed to cover? Let's see, ability to customizing the templates is something that I missed, right? So let's go here and let's go to the page class, right? So whatever the page class that we want, we go here. And if you also notice one thing, you know, this might be added as a public or whatever. I think by default it is getting added as public, right? So main page and all that. So what I did was during my exploration, I basically added customized the template. So I go there in Selenium. If you notice very closely, for all the elements, it's find by, and then it doesn't do anything, right? So it creates an element. It doesn't add any access modifiers. Let's say I want to add any access modifiers. So first, let's go here, choose Selenium, and I want to generate an element for this. Choose this, click on plus. And if you notice, it is public now. So I don't want this to be public. I want this to be private. Then you can go here and customize this template. Okay, you can see public class name. Else if they are adding this, and so they are saying public. So instead of that, I use private. Click on OK, and next time I try to create something, it basically creates with private. So that's something we want, right? So this is pretty cool. You can customize your own templates based on your needs. You can go here. It's very, very easy to customize. If you want, you can also do some other static imports. Anything that you like, you could do it here. And apart from that, you go to preferences or settings. Sorry, not the machine, but here the preferences. There is something called as TMS, right? So if you go to this TMS, you get an option to basically add your own TMS, right? What's happening? preferences. Yeah. So I can go here, add test ride. So this is a TMS called test ride. You can give your URL here, you can give your login password, and then you can click on test connection. I have already did this. It is working for me. It shows all the test cases, projects in the test ride. You could customize it, and then you can see it from here. And then there is also a way that you could add annotations that will automatically update the results to test ride. So since I don't have a free version of test ride, I cannot demo it. But if you are using in Office, you could try this yourself. This is pretty cool. And apart from that, you can customize your web inspector, how it has to behave here. And then you can also use XPath Viewer, you can customize it based on your needs, right? So these are all some of the things that it provides. Apart from that, you all know how to use HTTP requests. It's already covered in other JetBrains tutorials. But if you ask me one final thought, it is really worth it. Yes. If you are a web automation engineer doing web automation all the day, this is going to save you a lot of time. Okay. But if you are using APM or REST Assure, it doesn't going to help you anyway. So if they have added an APM inspector here apart from the web inspector, and then you can inspect your devices, connecting to the devices or whatever. If they can just render the APM inspector here, this is going to be the game changer in test automation world. Uh, so if you are going to use it, if you ask me, if it is less than $10 or $8 per month, I can go for it. But if it is more than that, I don't think I need this. So it is just my opinion. It depends on the cost. If my company is providing license, I would obviously go for this because it's very similar to IntelliJ, but just with added features, right? So that's all about this video. If you like this video, please do share, subscribe to the channel, and then hit on the bell icon. Thank you guys. I will see you guys in another great video. Until then, tada, bye bye from Bye.